Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren. And today I'm kind of just want to go through probably a couple of things. Busy day on social media and the kind of tribal wars are in full force. So I kind of just wanted to make a quick video on kind of where I stand because obviously I am making content and I'm making content which is basically including all the different brands available. So I have Intel, I have Nvidia, I have AMD, and obviously it's very hard, it would appear, to find people that generally are happy using a variety of hardware, and it seems like a lot of people seem to struggle with the concept of you can enjoy, it appears, various brands and not have to pick or choose a brand over another. I find, like personally, I find that quite strange. I'm quite happy to try new brands. I'm quite happy to use different brands. But obviously the problem is when I am obviously making any type of content, so I'm doing type of comparisons, unfortunately you always run, there's no way around it. Something has to be better than the other in certain scenarios, and that's just the way it is. Now, if that obviously upsets someone, I apologise. There's nothing that I can do about that. That's how I compare the brands. But the reason to compare the brands is purely for, the whole reason behind this channel and me doing what I'm doing is to give my opinion and also back that up if I can do. It's not easy through YouTube, but to actually back up what I'm trying to say. Now, obviously, if you've probably seen or watched or listened to any of my videos previously, you'll probably understand that I'm a person that puts, I put visuals ahead of performance. Now, that doesn't mean that I brush performance completely to one side, and it doesn't mean that in certain games I won't probably, certain games I will want the performance, so if you're talking something like, at the moment I'm playing First Descendant, which has RT in it. Now I can run RT on my GPU, it's capable of running RT, I can still get playable performance with RT, but for me, there's not a great deal of impact of RT in that game, so I won't run it. I'll take the performance. Now, some people will find that strange. I will get comments along the lines of, "What, you bought a Nvidia GPU and you're not using RT? What's the point?" Well, why not? I mean, the fact of the matter is that I can use it when and how I want. That's the beauty of it. I'm not tied to having to use a certain feature because of someone else's opinion. That seems really dumb to me. But like I said, I'm running a Nvidia system, I'm running an AMD system. I don't dislike either of them. I actually quite like both of them. They're not the same. It's hard not to compare them. I kind of wish that they'd go their separate ways in features, if you know what I mean. It's almost like when they constantly make features that are the same features, you have no choice but to compare their version of a feature against the other person's version of a feature, and then we come to the place where people just argue over those versions. You almost wish that they just went a completely separate way and had their I know it's not possible, but unfortunately that's the type of thing that leads to arguments. So I like both. I don't think there's a better. I'm strongly in the belief, and I'm not going to change my mind, there is better for one person and then there's better for another person, and there is no perfect. So from what I'm concerned, if you want the perfect GPU, you have to have a mixture of Nvidia and AMD, because the perfect GPU doesn't exist. The perfect GPU would probably be the raster performance of an AMD GPU, the VRAM allocation of a AMD GPU, and then the efficiency and the the upscaling features and the RT advantage of a NVIDIA GPU. Morph all those together, and there you've got the perfect GPU, but that doesn't exist. So we don't have it. So we're in a situation where it's give or take. It's take or leave. You can't have both. You can't have best. You have, one brand that has obviously pluses, and then it has its minuses, and that goes with both brands. So there is no best, and I don't see a reason why you have to choose a best. I don't see a reason why you can't be happy with both. I'm happy with both. Now, understand that everyone's not in a situation to go out and buy both, which is completely understandable, and that's why I'm kind of hopeful on making content that will lead to someone's decision to decide what is best for them. At the moment, I do feel that AMD probably would suit someone more looking at performance. So if you're a gamer with not so much interested in the highest visuals but the highest performance, I think AMD is for you. I think the other way around with NVIDIA, if you're someone that is happy to give up on performance for a higher visual, then I think NVIDIA is possibly for you. That doesn't mean that is absolute on either way. And then it's the same with obviously Intel and AMD CPUs. Now Intel, at the moment, I wouldn't recommend Intel, but that's purely because Intel are in a middle of a platform change, and I don't think anyone should invest, certainly in a platform, i.e. a motherboard, on an Intel 1700 socket when that has nowhere to go. So your choice at the moment would be to buy, a 13th, 14th, 12th maybe? I think 12th is on 1700 socket. So you could buy a 12th, a 13th or a 14th gen CPU, but obviously as soon as the next CPUs get released by Intel, you're going to have to change motherboard. Whereas on AMD, you could go out now, buy yourself an AM5 platform, buy a current CPU, buy yourself a 7800X3D or something like that, and within 6 months, when the next version of that releases, you're not stuck having to change a motherboard. You can just buy the CPU and drop it straight in. You might have to do a BIOS update, but everything should be there. The new motherboard, they might release new motherboards with slightly newer features, slightly higher Gen 5, hardware allowances, but I don't think any of that's going to be of huge difference, certainly to gamers. So I'm strongly on the belief that there is no one size fits all, and I'm not going to get drawn into too many arguments. I can only give my honest opinion. If people don't like my opinion, I'm sorry about that. I can only give my opinion, and hopefully I will make content. I try to make content that is backing up what I'm saying. So, if I'm pointing out that something doesn't look very good in a game, I'm pointing it out in that game. Whether that comes across on YouTube, I don't know. So, for me, visuals, I am always going to be swayed towards visuals. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some things on AMD that I might think visually actually do look better. I'm not sure that there's many that I've come across yet, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I probably do believe that AMD is probably more likely. I mean, AMD do have that bit of advantage where they have, their hardware is being used in consoles. So AMD are involved heavily when it comes to game development. And you tend to find that certainly on new releases, it's not uncommon for a game to run that bit smoother on an AMD or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that it runs terrible on NVIDIA, and that doesn't mean that that's always the case. It can be the opposite way around. I think I found Once Human surprisingly ran a bit better on my NVIDIA than my AMD. And then it will go the other way in certain other games. I'm running First Descendant again tonight. That might be a bit, I'm not sure. I'll find out tonight. But to be fair, I find that runs pretty good on the 4080 anyway. It was ran a little bit funny when I was recording last night, when I was changing a lot of settings in game. But looking back at I've been playing that game a lot on it, and it's been running, from what I'm concerned, when I'm playing the game, I'm not looking at my overlay. And I haven't felt myself looking at it because I felt that like the game was running dodgy or choppy or anything. So I felt it's run quite smooth. So yeah, I just wanted to clear the way that I am, the way that I think on this channel, because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I can only give my impression of what something looked like or how something performs. And if that unfortunately upsets someone, then I apologise. But I have to stick to what I'm saying, because if not, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that I'm never going to be wrong on something. Obviously, I admit to being really wrong on what I thought about The Last Descendant, because I'm really enjoying that game at the moment, and I played it for the first hour or something. I played it and I didn't think it was very good, and I immediately posted up a video saying that I didn't think it was very good. So I'll put my hands up. I'll take the L on that one. That was me. I was wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to like it. I'm sure other people will come to the same conclusion that I came to after the first hour. But when I get something wrong, I'll happily say it. Now, apparently I said something today which was wrong. Something was mentioned about fluid motion frames. Well, I've tried fluid motion frames a couple of times, and I wasn't particularly blown away with it. It's a feature that I struggle to make sense of, I'm not going to lie. To me, and it probably doesn't help that I'm not a high FPS gamer, so visuals come first and a playable experience. So I'll go with, in a lot of games, if I can hit 60 FPS at 4K, and then I'll go from there. And if the game doesn't feel very good at 60 FPS, well, I'll make some sacrifices. If it feels good at 60 FPS and I get the best visuals I can get, I'll probably be happy to play at that. So with something like fluid motion frames, I think is, in my mind, it's something that will obviously, it basically double your frame rate. Now, to me, when I want to be in a situation where I want my frame rate doubled, then I think of, okay, that's when I want to be in a fast-paced game to take advantage of the faster frame rates that I have. So to me, the downfall of fluid motion frames is that when you're using any type of fast movement, it deactivates. Now, in my mind, that almost makes it a kind of pointless feature. Now, I understand that technically it's not, and I understand that people enjoy it. I have no problem with that. If you enjoy using the feature, then use it. Damn right, use it. Why not? Why wouldn't you? You're not going to not use a feature because Darren said that he didn't think it was very good. That's just dumb. So enjoy your features. I don't have to like it. Now, I kind of made a comment that I'd been watching a video that Ancient Gameplays had put up about 3 weeks ago, where he had mentioned that he thought the new lossless scaling app that is available on Steam. Now, I made a mistake thinking that it was free. I think it was free when I saw it months ago, but I believe it's paid for. So I don't think it's expensive. I think it's like under £10 or $10. And in watching his video, I'd come to the conclusion after what he'd said that it worked better than fluid motion frames, and it was available on, every GP. Intel can use it, Nvidia can use it, AMD can use it. Now I've been told that I'm wrong, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. I shouldn't probably comment, and I put my hands up. I don't like to take too much interest of someone stating something that they haven't tried for themselves and I became that person. I haven't tried it for myself. I basically took another YouTuber's word for it, and I made a statement on that. So effectively, I should try it for myself. So I intend to try it for myself. I'll download it today, and later on this week, I'll give it a go. So I'll try Fluid Motion Frames, and I will try the Lossless Scaling app, and I will come to my own conclusion after trying both out. Now, that doesn't mean that what I say works for me will work for other people, which is totally fine, and I'm not going to tell people that they need to go and buy an app. But out of my own interest, I've stated something, so I'll try them out. And yeah, that's about it really. I just wanted to make it clear that on this channel, I have, I have no reason to pick a side. I don't care for that type of bullshit, if I'm being honest. I'm just not interested. I like both. I'm happy with my AMD system. If I wasn't, I'd just sell the damn thing and then I'd buy something else instead. I have no doubt that there will be games and there will be features that I am going to want to use that system for. I mean, I've just swapped it over now. I haven't used it for about a week. I'll probably play some Call of Duty this week because the AMD system rips in Call of Duty, well ahead of the 4080. So whilst I've got it in, that's a reason to probably play a bit of Call of Duty. Now, it's not my main game, but I do enjoy it when I get in it. But effectively, like I said, I'm more of a visual kind of a little bit more casual paced games than a sweaty Call of Duty. But that's kind of what I'm saying. It's not like I'm going to start basically talking bad about a product just because of its brand name or because something I read on the internet that I find I need to react to. So people watching this channel will either take me as being honest or they'll take me as talking bullshit, and that's fine. I can't help that. I can't do anything about that. And that's just the way I'm going to continue. Unfortunately, I will be putting products against each other, and when you do that, one has to win. And unfortunately, if one has to win, then that means one has to lose. And I can't help that. That's down to the brands to fix any problem and make their product better than the other. I can't help. So I'm going to leave it there because there's no point me going over and over again. I have kind of touched on this before, but I wanted to touch on it again today just to make things clear, because I have been told in a comment that I should just sell my AMD GPU because apparently I'm not being fair to it. I don't agree. I actually quite enjoy my AMD GPU. I have been obviously doing some NVIDIA content. I've already planned to swap over. If you watched my videos last night, I already planned today to swap over to the AMD GPU. I'll be using it for the rest of the week. I'm going to run some games in it. I'm going to run some tests in it. I'm going to run some VSR on the Alienware monitor. And I will try some Fluid Motion Frames. And I will download the Lossless Scale app in a minute, and I will also give that a go later on in the week as well. So if you're interested in that type of content, awesome. Give me a like, maybe subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.